If you want to support students working together this year, let's unpack these 3 tech-friendly models of collaboration together. Hi there, and thank you for joining me for this video. If we haven't met before, my name is Monica Burns. I'm an EdTech and curriculum consultant. I'm the founder of ClassTechTips.com, a blog full of EdTech tips, and the host of the Easy EdTech podcast. Let's dive into this video together. Working together is so much more than sitting side by side or logging in to the same video conference call. It's about providing an opportunity for students to take on a common mission, a problem they're going to solve, a solution they're going to find. And as we think about collaboration in digital spaces, there are 3 models that we'll unpack together. When students are working with a purpose in digital spaces, this can look different at different times of the school year, depending on how you've structured that experience. The first one to consider is role-based collaboration. That is where students take on a part of a project. They have one role that they're working on. They might get feedback along the way from their classmates. They might share their project process as they are working, as they are creating something. So that role-based collaboration is one model. The second model is remote collaboration, and not necessarily remote or distance learning, but students who are signing in to a digital space from 2 different locations, sometimes at different times of the day, or maybe at the same time. Remote collaboration can look different in different environments, but we often think of it as collaborating in a digital space, like working together within a Google Slides presentation where students are talking through their decisions, adding things to their page, even if they're using a video or chat feature instead of sitting side by side. A shared screen model for collaboration means students are sharing a screen. They're leaning over, they're talking together, they're pointing at different things, they're compromising. With a shared screen model, students are physically in the same space, they are sharing a device instead of having their own, and they're doing a lot of conversing, a lot of talking as they make decisions in a partnership or small group. There are a few best practices to consider as you are facilitating collaborative learning experiences. First, it's important to have set expectations that are clear, concise, and students have had practice working through. What does that look like in action? Well, it could include a project exemplar, so students understand where they are headed to, what they are working towards. It could include expectations for individual group members, how they are going to be expected to participate, and what follow-up and feedback might look like. The expectations might go alongside a timeline or schedule that you've shared. It can be hard enough to stay on schedule or to follow a timeline when someone's working independently or on their own, but this can be especially challenging when they are navigating a collaborative experience and students are working through something together. Having a clear timeline, one that may be adjustable if needed, is important. And students should understand what they are doing at different points and also the why it's important for them to submit something at a certain time, why they need to have something in time for someone to give feedback back to them, and what it might look like to adjust deadlines or timelines as needed when students are working on something with a group. One of my favorite tools for collaborative learning experiences is Padlet. You can use Padlet in many different ways. You can see that I've used it in many different ways over the course of several years. Now here, I'm already logged in and I'm just using the free version of Padlet. I'm gonna go to Make a Padlet to create a new Padlet with you. I want to point out a few things here that are important to consider if you're using this in a collaborative learning environment. Now, we today are going to use the wall. I like this as a way for kids to post questions or to ask for support or to put a link to the project they're working on. It's a great way for a group to stay organized, kind of know where everyone's at and who needs help with what. Another option you might explore is the timeline. This is a great option for groups that are setting their schedule and want to know where they want to be as they are working towards an end goal. Another option is the shelf. This is where you can create columns. So if you have a column for each student and say a group of 3 or 4 students, then they know exactly what tasks they have to work on as their group. Let's go ahead and take a look at Padlet. We're going to create a wall together. A few navigation things before we get started. Here in Padlet, you will share the link at the top of the screen, the shareable link with students to invite them in. They will press on the pink button, so that pink button is what they'll press to add in any content. You'll see me do it in just a moment. You can tell right away that this space could get a little busy if you have 30 students all sharing together. You might decide to create one Padlet page for different groups of students so they each have their own space to share updates, ask questions, and let you check in on their project process. So here I am on our project page here in Padlet. Now you can make this your own by going to the settings button, you can change the title, and you can change the description. You might decide that this is going to be group number 1's page, and the description might be here, give a daily update on your process or your progress, what you're working on or where you're at. Now you could change and add a different icon if you wanted to here. I've turned that off. You could change the link so it says group 1 at the end of it, and you can even change the wallpaper or the font here. I always set this up so that the new post appears first at the top, and I don't have any moderation set up with my free account. I'm gonna go ahead and hit save. Now once I'm back out here, students would jump in and tap on that pink button I mentioned before. This is where they can give their response and post their virtual sticky note where, in this case, I've asked them to give an update on something that they worked on, what their process looked like today, or where they're headed, what their progress is. So here we might put in something like our update, I've been working on something, I need help with something, and there's a few different options for students to share. You might set up an expectation that they put their name in the subject line and then they put a sentence or two to give their update. So I might put my update for today is, and I can add it in here. Students could also snap a picture or add a file, a link, or even search for an image to go along with theirs. Or they could tap on these 3 dots and record their voice if they wanted to give their update this way, or show off their screen if they wanted to share something that might be giving them a little bit trouble and they need a little bit of help with. Or you might find that students search for a GIF that goes along with their update. Lots of options right here from within Padlet. As soon as students have added in their update, they can tap Publish, and it will add it right here to the page. They can add more than one, meaning this is a place that they can come back to as frequently as they need to. In this case, a daily update would work in this space. If you have a group of 3 or 4 students, it shouldn't get too overwhelming over the course of a week or a month, and you'll know what's next, which one is the most recent one, because it'll appear at the top of the page. Now, during a collaborative learning experience, you might encourage students to bounce ideas off one another, ask for feedback from a classmate, or give feedback to one of their classmates who asks for some support. This is an opportunity to bring in strategies that are specific to the needs of your group. You might give them some sentence starters to help them give feedback to one another. You might ask them to share in a particular way, or you might even have a routine where for every piece of feedback students give, every comment that they leave, they add 1 or 2 emojis to go along with it. A collaborative learning process is also a great opportunity for kids to reflect on what is working for them, what they like about working in a group, ways that they could be a better group member or more supportive member of a group. So bring in those opportunities for conversation around reflection during a collaborative experience as well. You might find that students grow a lot when they are working collaboratively, as they are able to bounce ideas off one another and build skills that are right alongside your academic goals.